Lil Boosie gets kicked out of Chicago, and Duke the Jeweler's OG is trying to get the chains back. To figure out exactly what happened, watch the whole video, subscribe to the channel if you already not, hit the like button, comment down below, let's get right into it. So because of Lil Boosie and his situation on Duke 093, the jeweler, and everything that happened at the concert, it's like if Boosie goes to Chicago, he's probably not gonna be able to go there because they're gonna kick him out. They're gonna probably be like, want him to check in. So because of the fact that the OGs, they know that they done singled out Duke and everything like that. So to make sure everything goes smoothly, like if Boosie does a concert in Chicago, he's gonna have to go and check in, and he's gonna probably have to go and make sure that the water is cool and everything, and that it's not gonna be a situation where it's like he's not welcome and then he pulls up. So like any show that was planned for him, he's gonna have to double check and make sure is not gonna get canceled and anything like that, because you got to understand that and keep in mind that he was right there with Duke 093, like he was supposed to be the person that was showing the hospitality, taking care of him. I mean, they did invite him there, so it's like, because if Boosie would have got invited to Chicago by Duke or something like that, or somebody else, even an artist, then they didn't make sure that he's got the security around him and everything. They're going to use their resources to help them. And that didn't happen with Duke. They didn't show him the same type of respect back. And so that's why they're telling him, like, no, Boosie can't come to Chicago. A lot of the people from Chicago, a lot of the Duke, the Jeweler fans and stuff like that, they are actually coming out and saying that they're like, you know what, we don't even want to see Boosie. Like, nobody's trying to, and the fans right now, they're still trying to mourn the loss of Duke. And so before Boosie even goes to Chicago to do a show or a concert or anything like that, the OGs have to get the chains back and find the Louis Vuitton bags that had, close to $1 million worth of jewelry and stuff that was from the display case for Duke the Jeweler's jewelry shop. So if they don't get that back yet, then Boosie's not gonna be able to come to do any of his shows there. Like, he can't do anything, at the Bulls Stadium until they get close to everything back that belonged to Duke and whatever he lost in that situation, because technically he was supposed to be watched over by Boosie and his team, and they're supposed to make sure that nothing goes wrong because they invited him. At the end of the day, it's like you can't leave behind somebody when you invited them. You either go move as a team or not. So you got to make sure to let it be known, like, Duke didn't think that he was going to end up kind of getting left behind or betrayed, or you know what I mean? So when they betrayed him, he was just as shocked as anybody else would be when they find out they got betrayed. And once he got to that parking garage, if he could do it all over again, I'm sure he would decide to, go home, go back on the road and get back to Chicago. But at the end of the day, he tried to go out and support Boosie and everything at the concert. And so now it's like, before Boosie goes quick to come and go anywhere over there, they're going to have to get the differences settled. They're going to have to squash the beef before he goes out there, because they're not going to want him to go to Chicago. They're going to tell him that he has to check in. And when he goes to check in, they're going to say, you're not allowed. So he has to turn around and leave. So it's like right now, if he goes, it will be wasting a trip, just due to the fact that once he gets there or lands there or drives there or whatever, they're going to be waiting for him, and they're going to tell him to turn around and he has to leave because he doesn't get a pass no more, because of the situation that happened where basically he didn't give Duke a pass to slide with him to the concert and park at the parking spot next to him. They made him go into a separate whole area that didn't even have a gate, and any goons can pull up and do whatever. And so that's basically what happened. And so that's why they took away his pass to be able to roam Chicago. Like, he can't go downtown or go to the Nike store or anything like that. And it's just the way it is, for right now. Maybe it'll change later once Boosie tries to, like, make the right the wrongs, because he's got to come out and apologize and try to get the chains back. Like, right now, they probably melted down all the gold in the chains, because Duke the Jeweler is a real jewelry businessman. So he has real gold and real precious metals and silver and all that stuff, right? And so they think is valuable in the chains, they're gonna melt it down and sell it to cash for gold. They're gonna try to sell the pendants and the diamond stuff to the pawn shops, even though the jewelry with the diamonds in it isn't gonna sell as much as if it was like original. So it depends, but they're gonna try to get the fast money because remember, Boosie needed $1 million in 48 hours. So everything that they're doing, they're probably even trying to sell off the Louis Vuitton bags, but that's why the OGs, they're trying to go out there and find out like all the places that they done sold and melted down Duke's jewelry and his bags at, so they could go back to them and let them know that they need it back because it belonged to Duke and they got to retrieve everything back and make the wrongs right. And so, that's why they're telling Boosie that he has to do it. He has to be on standstill and he has to basically chill out and not go to Chicago, and he can't do his concert there until they get the whole thing resolved because everybody is still looking at him as the bad guy in the situation because the way it's looking like it's almost as if he knows what was going on. And so that's something you got to keep in mind and understand because at the end of the day, everybody was, basically saying that Boosie was in the wrong at that time and that he should have from the dice game and at the concert, he should have had Duke right there with him because they knew that he came there by himself. And so that's the reason why, just knowing that off the bat and knowing that, it's a far away from home. Like Houston to Chicago is a long way. That's almost like a 15, 16-hour drive at least, maybe even 20 hours. And you got to understand that they knew that he was going to come out there with all that money and all that jewelry. So it's like, do you think it was a planned thing? Do you think that they tried to tell him to come out with all the jewelry and money and then pretty much it just led to him doing like a robbery and he ended up getting hit up at? And so that's why that parking garage footage is going to be crucial and everything like that, the body cam. So picture that came out of his red truck and him just there down, literally you could see his leg peeking out. And that's when you notice, oh, this is definitely a setup because he was boxed in. The parking spaces was a tight space. He already had a truck and they knew this. So the fact that they made the man in the truck park in a tight space when the other guy's truck pulled up, it was like he was boxed in. So they really just waited for the right moment. They waited the whole night. And I think they even had stalled him because Duke was going to leave. He was probably going to leave the concert when it was almost over so he could beat the traffic. But they were stalling everybody. They were like, nah, nobody leave yet until Boosie's leaving. And we all gonna go out as one unit. But they weren't acting like a unit. They already singled out Duke. And so it was really they knew that he was the only person that parked in that section. And everybody else, when they get that big group text message saying to leave, everybody was going to go out. But 99% of the people, they were going to go out the door Boosie was going out of because they all got let in the VIP section. And that 1% that wasn't able to go out that section had to go out the side door in the parking lot next to him. That was Duke. Duke was the only one that had got told that. Out of all the people, not even the cameraman had to park where Duke parked. And so when you really look at it, as soon as they told everybody, okay, Boosie's leaving, everybody leave now, we're going to update with, the address of where the after party is. And so they were looking to find a club or a hookah place or whatever to do the after party. And so that's why they told everybody, just wait in your car, wait for the traffic, wait in your car. And so Duke waited for the message. He went out as soon as everybody started leaving. He went out and it was already basically the play was already being ran at that point to where they were okay, the text just went out telling everybody to go to their cars. And so that's when the guys that were watching Duke, as soon as they saw that door swing open for him to walk out that back area and go towards his car, that's when they pulled up. You got to understand that he should have been able to be in a better spot, or at least on the rooftop, because there's an elevator from the rooftop that goes right to it, but it's still the same situation. They would have found him. So at the end of the day, a lot of people are thinking that as soon as the security or whoever it was at the gate that told him he couldn't park in that VIP in the secure area, everybody's saying that's when he should have turned around and just went home. And it makes sense that he should have just turned around and left, because when you look at everything in totality, it's like nobody was buying the chain from him at that moment. If they didn't buy the chain from you at the dice, make sure you stay updated on that. I'm gonna make sure to drop a breaking news video, so you gotta stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and comment down below. Let me know what you guys think.